Welcome back to 1876 Sports and Culture Podcast, a show focused on highlighting the illustrious Prairie View A&M University, the HBCU of Texas, by promoting SWAC and the HBCU experience, featuring your fellow PV Panthers, Roland Austin, Jay Cleasy, Big Mike Washington, three-time SWAC champ Gati Werema, former drum major HBCU band historian Shawnetta Haskell, and Al Williams, driving the show from the Hill. Please subscribe and follow us on social media at 1876 SCP. And don't forget, we do it for the culture.
And welcome to the 1876 Sports and Culture Podcast. I'm fresh out the cut. Family, you know, it said I'm driving the show from the hill. Well, when you're driving the show, you're supposed to hit the record button. So we were halfway through this segment. I was like, oh, stop. We got to start over.
You letting the folks behind the curtain now.
I know, man. Hey, I had a time last week, bro. We had Nesby. And, you know, I had to go down to PV yesterday because Joseph had to vacate his apartment as he gets ready to move to Arizona. So, man, I'm on fumes, bro.
Yeah, you got two out of college already.
Yes, it's empty nest time. It's
empty nest.
Hey, you know when they say that little Southwest ding, I'm ready.
Man, yeah, I hear you, brother, man. I'm on the road traveling. I'm getting it in with the boys playing lacrosse. We empty nesters, but I'm trying to get their schedule mixed in with mine. I don't know whose schedule is more important, their schedule or my schedule. If you leave it to my wife, she's like, you ain't get their schedule right. And she give me them Jada Pinkett eyes, execute order 66.
Oh, damn. So who you about to pimp slap there, Mike?
Oh.
So all is good, man.
All is well. All right, man. Let's talk some bowling real quick. We got the SWAC championships going on this weekend. By the time this show comes out, we'll have a SWAC champ crowned in bowling. But we've got some folks that got some postseason honors.
Yeah, man. You got Jada Gordon, freshman of the year. Second team, you got Stephanie Vasquez. First team, all SWAC. So they are doing the thing, man. The Lady they look to finish strong this weekend. And this is actually compiles like 2 or 3 years of strong finishes for the bowling team. But congratulations, big ups to Lady Gordon and Lady Vasquez. Now you know your boy. I used to bowl a little bit, but
there we go.
I'm just gonna say, with the right food and the right beverage.
See, it's like baseball, man. You got to bowl your weight at least. You gotta have that. You gotta have that flat Milwaukee's best in the pitcher with the plastic mug.
Yeah,
and some chicken wings.
And some chicken wings.
So Vasquez posted a 197.52 with a 4th place during the regular competition, and Gordon, what she post, 194, just under 200. So they bowling just under 200. I figure on a good night with the right drink, as I keep
about
saying,
85.
That's right. I can get 150, whatever.
On a good night, I'm about 85, 90.
You gotta bust 100 now. Come on.
No, bro. I used that whole lane. I bowled a whole lane. So ain't no piece of that lane that don't get touched.
And you from Detroit. That's your name.
Man. Hey. My folks ain't work at the plant. My mama was working that swing shift, so it wasn't no bowling in our house. Oh man! All right, so I'm excited, man. You know, a lot of folks are done with their pro day, and we're talking spring football practice now. So what's going on the hill?
Oh, yeah, of course, is everybody's favorite subject, PV football, baby. So every year the team changes. You lose some, you bring some in. So as you know, we bought in a bunch of JUCO transfers. Some of them are on campus already. You know, they got there in January. Others won't get there until the summertime. So we'll see what those new guys look like. A bunch of big studs on the defensive line. As everyone know, that was the focus of recruiting. So some of them are on campus. So, hey, we'll have 3 practices in March, the 27th, the 29th, and the 31st, from 3 to 5 every day. Practice is open. The coaches want you to come check them out and see what they're doing. So it'll be your first chance to see what some of those new players look like. It'll be your first chance to see what Trayvon Conley looks like from a QB perspective and all the other returning players. So they'll have 12 practices in the month of April, all from 3 to 5. 2 scrimmages, which will be April the 6th and April the 15th. And the spring game, the purple and gold game, will be April the 22nd, which is a Saturday. So if you remember last year, the spring game was a pretty dang big event. They put on a nice event. So I expect them to be bigger and better for this spring game, April the 22nd.
So remember when you know, we all played football. You know, you used to, you know, in practices, you throwing up on the field, drinking, as my uncle used to say, you drinking the water out the fire hose off the field. Are these boys spoiled, or are they really ready? I just
So you want to know, are they drinking out the Gatorade cups, or they got the hose out there? You know, you turn to the side, you got to stick that bottom lip out. You got to stick out your bubblegum lip.
I don't know if y'all know, but, you know, we used to have big breaks. There are no more breaks anymore. They work out 24/7 year round. So they may be in better shape now than they are in football season because, you know, they've healed from injuries. They've been lifting and running and everything. Probably went through their specialized trainers during the Christmas break. This is a different game than when we played, man.
No.
Yeah, we used to put some sugar in that gallon jug of water. No real Gatorade.
At my high school, we called it Spoodie.
Spoodie.
Don't know what the hell it was, but that's what they called it, Spoodie. Hey, and we only got 2 Spoodie breaks in a 4-hour practice period. 90 plus degrees outside.
Louisiana gonna find a name for something, man. Spoodie.
Spoodie.
Oh no! Hey, that was an H-Town. That was an H-Town term.
I just say, man, I wouldn't go bring that term out, but man, I'm familiar with that term, Spoodie. I'm like, you only got 2 or 3 of them things.
I think it was makeshift Gatorade.
Yes.
Oh
exactly.
my God! Some salt and some sugar, and call it good. Shake it up in that gallon jug. Freeze it the night before.
Orange or red.
Oh man. Lord have mercy.
Oh God.
All right. So other news on the Hill. So I understand there's a Rising Future Makers program that AT&T sponsors, and we've got some students on campus that were a part of that.
Yeah. So man, when you talk about, first of all, let's talk about what is a rising future maker. And I had to do some research and do some digging because you can slap that title on anybody, but it's AT&T's signature program, and it basically focuses on influencers. Now that seems to be a new term. Influencers, folks who are impacting culture, folks who are impacting community. That's still a broad definition. So throughout its, Black Future Maker program, a total of 15 extraordinary culture shapers have been identified at least this year. They have a chance to win $25,000. So that's this program that AT&T has sponsored. So with that being said, there are 3 students who have been nominated. So congratulations to them as the 25 rising future makers who have a chance to win $25,000. Siri Young, Jocelyn Poppy Johnson, and Justin Lamar Collins. Students with different walks. Siri, I believe, is she's a proud member of the honors program. She's in the medical program. She's doing her thing. Respected, or she's part of respected organization, but basically she volunteers with the Waller Pregnancy Care Center and the Houston Food Bank, which is big deal. And then you have other folks like transfer the gentleman. What was his name? God, man, I see it.
Justin Lamar Collins.
Yeah, Lamar Collins, who's doing big things. So after transferring from Eastern Illinois University, he dove into campus life. He's a student at PV. He mentors young students. He is a community assistant, active with the Gold Members Club, and is preparing to be a student coach for the football season. So these students are doing big things. Tip your hat to them. I hope they win the $25,000. But I gotta say, when you say you're an influencer, what does that really mean? Because if you would have said that in 1990s when I grew up, or the 1980s, I think that would have had a different meaning.
Yeah, it depends on the context. When they talk social media, that means you have more than 10,000 followers to be called an influencer. That means companies will pay you to post things on your social media. But I'm not sure if these folks fit into that category, or if they're just trailblazing students kind of doing some things that are not taking the traditional route.
So, yeah, and I left on, I'm sorry, Jocelyn Poppy Johnson, who is doing big things as well. She's also involved with the food bank with different programs. But does it mean involvement with community programs, or does it mean about social media following? Which one is more important? That's where I kind of scratch my head and say, which more gets the accolades? I mean, hats off to these students. They're definitely doing the thing. But when you say a top influencer, which is a top category for this award, usually that's like, 50,000, 75, 100,000 followers on social media. What if they're not a part of social media and they're still doing this stuff?
I say it's still an influencer because a lot of people talk about it and a lot of people are about it. So it sounds like these students are about it. So if you ain't about that life, you can post pictures all day.
Yeah.
All I know is 25 G's is 25 G's. So you call me
Yes,
with that
sir.
you want at that point.
Exactly.
That
So
sounds like a rap song. 25 G's is 25.
mess around. Okay. Gonna say you heard it here first. So I understand we have a new interim dean of students and director of student support services. Wash Jones is now in that interim position. I guess Steve Ransom must have retired out of there. So is this one of the positions that they didn't want Ruth to fill? Is that what this is? So who hired him? And I guess he still has an interim. So
he was promoted, I would suspect.
He was promoted.
Yeah,
he was promoted, and then he just got this award from the National Future Farmers Association. So with a VIP citation. Now I don't know how you get an award with the VIP association or citation, but he did. And the VIP citation is presented to individuals who made significant contributions to the Future Farmers Association, or FFA. So congratulations, big ups to him. He's done quite a bit. I mean, if you look at his dossier, he's been involved with the agricultural program since 2007. He was an assistant. I think he started in 1994. He's been a member of the National Society of Minorities in Agriculture. He's got all of the accolades, but it kind of wonders, was he promoted? Was he elevated to this position? And then, congratulations to the award. Of course, he's done big things, but, he just kind of stepped into this position with no announcement. That's kind of the big thing. All of a sudden, he's head of the agricultural department. Hello, here's Wash Jones.
Well, we rarely hear what's going on from that department. Only time we hear about the ag department is when checks are coming through.
Yeah.
True.
They work in silence over there.
Yeah. So Interesting. So I wonder, we've got a couple of interim folks. We've got an interim AD. We've got a interim president. We've got an interim now dean of students. How comfortable do you get with that interim tag? Because do you
I
just
was just
enjoy
going
that
to
parking
ask.
spot for a minute, or
Exactly. What is that? If you ask Dr. Cavill, he has a very technical definition for the interim tag. I still don't get this interim tag. Is there a term limit associated with it? Does it mean you're the person waiting to becoming and you got to meet certain standards to be the next person? I don't get it. Me and Dr. Cavill, who's the producer of this show, as you know, we get into it because I'm like, why call someone interim for 3 years? I might as well.
right? At some point, I need an automatic conversion.
You know, it's got to be money
I
involved
need a
somehow.
6-month limit.
There's
Yes,
got to
after
be
6
money
months.
involved. Yeah.
After 6 months, it's a default. It just kicks in and it's permanent, and
Yes.
I ain't got to get that money back.
Yeah. If I'm interim dean for 6 months for a year, that means I'm doing all the stuff that a normal dean should do. Some stuff should kick in.
That means you've been doing it for the same money you were making before you got that interim tag.
That's my point.
See?
Bingo. 100%.
And then when your predecessor only had the job for 6 months, but I'm interim for a year and a half. Come on, man. Nah,
Exactly.
We need to renegotiate some things. I got some questions.
I have questions about this term interim.
Right.
Interim professor. Why put a term interim with professor? Why put a term interim with dean?
It just is what it is until it ain't.
Exactly. So,
man. So in other news, I heard that of all the crazy things going on in the state of Florida, FAMU announces they're banning TikTok.
yes.
So we know they had that incident with the young lady who was graduating and wanted to show all her good goods to the whole world on TikTok, and they held back her degree and eventually gave it to her. But surely that's not the reason for the ban of TikTok at FAMU, because I mean, you can still get it with your cellular plan. So what are you really stopping? Are they getting on board the DeSantis train here with this? We need to ban TikTok stuff.
I wonder if it was political, because if you read all the social media posts, if you read the first sentence is FAMU has taken the controversial step of banning the widely used known as TikTok. Okay, so take that the controversial step. Either you're gonna do it or not, and people still can get it. So, and it happens to be an HBCU in the state of Florida, which is taking a stance on TikTok. So after many other colleges, universities across, they're looking at it. They've done the same thing, and FAMU has taken the rule, and it's been widely publicized. You have to wonder what's beneath the line here. What's the ulterior motive?
Did they do with their board of regents what has been done at other HBCUs, where the governor appoints his people as a board of regents, and they made that decision outside of the administration at FAMU?
So,
I guarantee you it was tied to the young lady who decided to make that TikTok video in front of the Viper or whatever, that mascot they got on campus. I guarantee you a lot of people were pissed off behind it that she did it on campus, and they feel it put FAMU in a bad light. Now, if there were some other reasons that kind of pushed that decision over the top, maybe, but I'm willing to bet. And I bet if someone did the same thing at PVAMU, if they got on top of that Panther, half naked, on TikTok, I guarantee you there would be a push to ban TikTok on PV campus.
A couple years ago, there was that fountain incident.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the girl got in the fountain butt naked, and that was all. I think back then it was either Facebook or IG or something. But yeah, we've had an incident. It just wasn't on the mascot.
Hey, but you can't. Yeah, that's the difference. That could be any fountain anyway. You can't prove that was PV when you look at it. You
No,
do it
brother,
in
you can
front of
see.
that.
You could. They were at the flagpole,
No.
so you can see.
No,
How you think that segment came about? Meet me at the flagpole.
You can't.
there were
Hey,
certain landmarks.
you can't desecrate the mascot on any campus.
So what are your thoughts on this TikTok thing? I mean, they went before court. I mean, for Congress, and old buddy was arguing. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, seriously.
Well, I think just like in anything else in politics, follow the money. I think TikTok has over 167 million users in the United States. Um, they have basically more engagement and more users than Facebook and Instagram, and all the Zuckerbergs of the world who write a lot of checks to politicians. They are suffering because a lot of ad money is flowing away from their platform and going to TikTok, which they view as a foreign entity that is uh, based out of China, and they're trying to accuse them of tracking. Well, you and we all know every app tracks you. I
Exactly.
mean, I can think about something, and the next thing you know, it's showing up in my feed.
Yeah.
So
All over my damn phone.
all
Yeah.
over my phone, all over my phone.
I could take one trip, and all of a sudden I'm getting ads about taking trips to this location.
Exactly.
So we
You say the
are.
wrong. You say the wrong name in your house that starts with an A and ends with an A, and the next thing you know, that thing is recording what you're talking about, and will make sure to tailor your feed to meet that conversation.
Yeah.
So they all track. It's just about the
Yeah.
money. That dude from China is not writing checks to the politicians. That's what he's gonna learn. You need to cut some checks just like them, and then you won't have this problem.
Well, it's banned in China. So, the way I feel about it, it's banned in China for a reason. Because it's not, it is, there's so much foolishness that occurs on TikTok. And that's the reason why it's not banned in China, just to make it simplistic. If it's banned in America, I ain't got no problem with it because it's just too much. These kids got access to too much foolishness. They've got access to too much foolishness to video themselves, too many opportunities to put themselves doing foolish activities for the rest of the existence of this world. And if you take away one of these platforms, I don't have a problem with it. I'm sorry.
But another one will just pop up.
It started out with just kids, but now it's mamas, aunties trying to make these videos. It's going crazy. You got mamas trying to make those in kitchens. Really? So, and then you got the government saying that these are secrets to the Chinese. How is mama making a video in the kitchen a secret to the Chinese? What are they gonna get out of that? So
yeah. And I guarantee you, if you search long and hard enough, it's a ton of PV activities all over TikTok, all the different tent parties and whatever. You can find anything you want. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, y'all know y'all gonna need a job.
Be looking for a job.
Okay. I cool.
Yeah. All right, man. So spring sports are in full effect now, and both baseball and softball are undefeated in the SWAC. Baseball at 6-0 and softball at 7-0. Are we looking at a sweep?
Well, I mean, with a sweep, you got to give PV ups. They got 2 back-to-back sweeps. And then, they didn't start the season out really good. But all of a sudden.
That was non-conference play, though.
I know.
That's money games.
All of a sudden, Alcorn State, sweep. All of a sudden, UAPB, sweep. All of a sudden, you look at the statistics. A week ago, Prairie View didn't have any batters in the top 10, any pitchers in the top 10. Guess what? Look at it this week. When the new stats come out, now you got Prairie View players all up in the stats. all up in the video. I'm sorry, that was my Suge Knight video.
See,
It was bad too, Mike.
all over your video dancing.
Hey, 6-0 the baseball team
They are
6-0 in the SWAC.
And yes, they are leading the SWAC West. So, this Prairie View team is very unique. I mean, they got some unique players. Look, I mean, you look at some of the batters. I mean, you got two batters that in the last 2 weeks are batting over 380, nearly 400. Now, for those of you who have never played baseball, if you were batting between 350 to 400, you are doing big things. So,
Well, let me ask you this, Mike. Is that speaking directly to the competition, the pitchers that they've been facing at Alcorn and Pine Bluff?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. When you get into the pitching staff or the pitching depth, yeah, pitching matters in baseball, but then also you look at the batters. I looked at their batters playing non-conference game. The batters weren't doing that bad, but they get into the conference play and they get into pitching staffs who are really, to be honest, who are compromised once you get past the third and fourth pitcher, and now they are doing their thing. So we'll see what they look like in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I think we talk about the difference between like some of the big Power 5 schools that are fully funded and schools in the SWAC. In football, it's all about the big men. The quality of the big men at those Power 5 schools is completely different than those at some of the other D1s that are FBS. But FCS. But you look at baseball, and it's the pitching. That's where the difference is. You got guys down there at LSU or Vanderbilt, and they got nasty stuff, bro. You got when you throwing those sliders at 86, or you throwing that fastball at 97, 98 consistently. You don't get to see that except for at a pitching machine, and hitting from a pitching machine is completely different from hitting on a pitcher because the timing is different. Every pitcher has a different cadence. So, can you see the stripes coming out of his hand? That's the difference, man. I think that quality of pitching is the difference between those big schools and the other D1s.
I mean, you look at the PV squad, you got Sebastian Corey, you got Michael Burrows, you got Garrison Wales, are all hitting over 300. And then you look at the pitching, unfortunately, you only have 3 pitchers in the last 3 weeks that are pitching 4.0. And to be competitive and to get, toward the College World Series, you need that depth. And that's where funding and resources come into play. As you say, Big Al, you get some resources and funding, you can get a deeper pitching bench. And that's what carries you through the season and the playoffs.
Yep. And now let's talk about softball, man. They got the bats going too. So I think Coach Bland is back from COVID protocol. So they sitting at 7-0.
7-0 in the SWAC. 4 straight wins over TSU and Grambling. They looking good. As Coach Bland mentioned, the bats are heating up for them. They got a lot of young talent that's growing up. And they're ready to do big things in a SWAC. And as he said, it's not about what happened in the preseason. It's what happens in SWAC. What happens that last game, that tournament. That's all that matters. You're just trying to get to NCAA, man.
That's it. All right, man. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with I'm So Glad. Woo. All right, and welcome back. We have joining us from the one and only women's track team from Prairie View A&M University, Miss Maci Guy. Maci, what's going on?
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing good.
Hello. Thanks for joining.
So you are the first pole vaulter that we have had the opportunity to interview. So we are excited for this. We have to know how, when you first started vaulting, how did somebody convince you and say, we're going to take this 10-foot pole, you're going to run as fast as you can, stick it in this little 4-inch thing in the ground, and jump 8 feet in the air?
I know. It sounds so crazy. I started pole vaulting in middle school, and back then, it just wasn't much convincing. Like I was fearless. So
See?
they just told me, Macy, you should go over there and pole vault. I had no idea what pole vault was, never heard of it. I was like, okay. I went, and I actually didn't have a coach. I was taught by an 8th grader, so that's the funny thing.
Wait, time out, time out, time out. So they just had a bag over there, the poles laying around, and let's go try this. And you're like, cool.
That 8th grader say, look here, this is all you gotta do.
Yeah. Let me put you up on game real quick.
It was Rockwall, Texas. I imagine there weren't a bunch of pole vault coaches in the area.
Well, I actually was in Forney. I was at Forney. I grew up in Forney, and I went to Forney High School and then transferred to Rockwall High School.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
All right. Okay. And you are also a heptathlete.
Yes.
So for those not familiar, can you run down the 7 events that are in the heptathlon?
So it's long jump, high jump, shot put, javelin, 100-meter hurdles, the 200-meter dash, and the 800-meter.
Let's see. Every one of those events are killers. Every single one. And the thing is, you're mixing some sprints and some middle distance, and then you add the hurdles on top of it. How long is an average practice for you?
I usually do like 2 a days, or I just break it up based off the events. If I have like hurdle day, then I might go pole vault and do some stuff, or I'll do field events, high jump, and shot put. So I mix it up just to get all the events in there.
Do you have like a certain diet? I mean, that's a lot of activity. So who is your dietitian and what does your diet look like?
I actually get this question a lot from like a lot of students on campus, but I'm not on a diet. I eat.
What? You on French's Chicken?
Yeah.
Popeyes? McDonald's?
She get all the calories she wants, basically.
See,
what?
Probably don't get enough protein. We probably need to start some type of meal plan for you to send some meat up there. Huh?
That PV food fuels you up, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So did you do the event did you do the event in high school?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
All right. So we know the top female heptathlete of all time was Jackie Joyner-Kersee. And you see the progression that she had, where she could she could compete not just in the heptathlon, but she could compete in those individual races to get points. So are you at that point where coach is looking around and saying, hey, Maci, I need you to go out here and give me 6 points in this 200?
No, I'm not that good, but I have my events. This is so crazy. I wasn't supposed to do the heptathlon here. I was actually just recruited to pole vault. But when Coach Williams found out that I used to do the heptathlon in summer track, she was like,
say less.
Yeah, exactly.
So I started doing it. I did it like 3 days before. I was told I was going to compete in it 3 days before SWAC, I think my sophomore year. And I was like, oh my goodness. But I went out there and I think I ended up placing 6th that year. Outdoor.
So you got points.
Yeah. So she was like, okay, look, this is what we're going to have to do for the rest of the season. This is what you do now. So now that I've been actually practicing for it, I've become stronger in some of the events, specifically 100-meter hurdles. And now I'm actually in the hurdle crew. That's what they say. So
okay.
My question is, every heptathlete, what is your go-to favorite event? Is it the hurdles now, or what is it? Like that is my event. I got this on lock.
I like hurdles now. Actually, I was afraid of hurdles. I used to jump so high over the hurdles because I was like, I am not touching this hurdle. But my favorite event, like that I have the most fun doing, is shot put.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Did not see that one coming.
No.
I didn't see that one either.
What's your
shot
technique? Do you do the spin move or do you do the scoop?
I did a scoop.
Okay.
What?
See? Yeah, that's usually the big girl event, you know.
I know, right?
The big queens be doing that.
So you got to eat some mashed potatoes or something
Right.
to do that shot.
That's what I said. We got to send her some protein shakes or something.
Yeah, because you know they put that in the cut.
It's
You have
like
chalk on the
deep
side
in
of
there.
the face. But I know for the hurdle crew, if you're down with the hurdle crew, now we just had a segment where we talked about TikTok. The hurdle crews have the best drills. I mean, when they put them up in the 4 circles and they just hop over them one at a time and they all coordinated, nobody has a better drill than the hurdle crew. So if you're down with the hurdle crew, yeah, they get mad respect because everybody wants to learn how to do that, and they start tripping, and the hurdle crew will talk some cash noise and say, "Get out the way. Let us show you how this is done."
Man, this has done, youngster. Okay.
Yes. All right, so Maci, what do you got? What are your plans for after graduation? We know you're a senior now, and you probably got another year eligibility. But what are your plans?
So my plan, I'm a biology major with a minor in chemistry, and I plan to go to medical school after undergrad.
All right.
Yes.
There we go.
You got a med school picked out?
I want to go to Texas Tech medical school. But right now, after undergrad, I'll be taking a gap year. So I think I'm going to come back and probably get a master's here at PV in my gap year before going
Okay.
to
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, take that MCAT one more time.
Yeah.
You
So
have
are you
time
gonna-
to study because with the heptathlon, I know you got no time to study
No
for
time.
MCAT.
So do you have another season to run, or is this going to be your last season to run? Actually, run?
I have another year of eligibility. My freshman year was when COVID hit. So we lost that outdoor season. And then sophomore year, they gave us another indoor season. So I have a full year of eligibility.
Nice. That'll put a nice dent in that grad school.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Maci, we are so happy that you joined us. We look forward to you making some noise out here, and this as we get closer to this SWAC championship. We want to see some points. Hey, now that you with the hurdle crew, you know how Coach does. He started counting up those points and say, Maci, you think you can run me a 12-7?
I know, right?
You like, Coach, I just finished 7 events. I got nothing.
Drink some water.
Hey, no. Joe, what was the name of that stuff you drank?
Drink some Spoodie.
Drank some Spoodie.
From Spoodie. Yeah.
It's sugar water with salt and they put food color. It's fake. It's the hood Gatorade.
Exactly.
All right, Maci, thanks for joining us, and good luck for the rest of this season.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with the We Ready shoutouts. And we are back with the We Ready shoutouts. So I'm going to give my first shout out to NSBE. So I got a chance to go to NSBE, which is the National Society of Black Engineers. They had their annual, their national conference in Kansas City this week. 14,000 Black engineers in Kansas City. That is the most of any NSBE attended. That was NSBE 49. I think the previous record was just shy of 11. They had 14,000. Man, we went there looking for folks. I filled all of my spots. I filled a spot that I didn't even have. So it was a lot of talent out there. So NSBE was ready.
Ready?
Yeah,
Nice.
man, I can't even top that. I'm serious. I'm like trying to think. Man, I thought I had some.
Don't force it, Mike. Don't force
See?
it.
I'm serious.
I'll give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to the crew that put together and ran the 89th annual Prairie View A&M University PV Relays this past weekend. They did a phenomenal job. They had a huge turnout. Interim AD Gardner said they had over 40 teams that showed up, high school and college. So that was going against, that was going against other large track meets that were in the Houston area. So, hey, it was a great time. They also had junior days on campus as well as a baseball doubleheader. So it was a great time for PV Relays. The team that put it together and ran it, they were ready.
Hey, ready. Hey, do we need to just pull that interim tag from Gardner? Because we keep saying every week is the best ever, the greatest ever, the biggest ever.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, bro.
It's amazing what simple. It's amazing what simple project. We don't know, but you know what? Let's just leave it there and don't. If you don't scream, don't holler. Just let it ride, man.
Let's just roll with it.
Just roll with it.
We like Madam Zenobius. Let it ride. Let it all ride.
So my last ready to the baseball softball teams. In the time of the spring, we focus on March Madness. These teams have gone into the SWAC tournament or the SWAC conference play, and they've started off really well. So the PV baseball and softball teams, they ready.
They're ready. All right, here we go. We're doing the traditional PV. You know.